Hey guys, welcome to a very quick video. I just wanted to cover last Tuesday's update and this Tuesday's update from Embark. During this past week or two of streaming, I've been asked a few questions about it. So I thought I'd make a video which covers all the general points of the nerfs and update, and then hopefully it helps you guys out. So basically, to start off with, last week the Kettle had received a big fire rate nerf from 600 to 450. They believe this previous fire rate was only really realistically achievable by players with macros. I'm not sure if I 100% agree with that. I think it sort of depends on your technique with the mouse. However, I'd imagine they're probably quite right. I'm not too certain on the actual figures you'd be able to achieve. Um, but I do know that there's quite a controversial topic between console players and PC players. Whereas, like, as I say, I think it's just more about technique of how you use your mouse, which I know I'm going to cause a debate here. However, obviously, I am aware people do use macros. Obviously, I didn't know what a macro was until about last week or so. Once I had to have the guys on stream explain to me what it was. But that's perks of being a console player for 14 years going on to PC. So it is what it is. If I'm honest, I don't think this has actually been a big enough nerf. I know I've uploaded videos here and there, which has caused some debate. But the fire rate, I probably would have said is not enough. I think they needed to nerf the damage a little bit as well. I don't want it to be completely unusable because of, it from a cheap gun for people starting out from the game. It's a good, it's a good gun. It's a good recommendation. But is still beating some of the higher tier guns, which is outrageous. I actually believe that the Bettina in that sort of gun is completely unusable at this point in time because it's still to this date being beaten by your lower tier weapons, which is just absolutely mental. On the second point of the update, we had a nerf to the trigger nades. So they've put here that the trigger nade currently dominates PvP. What did do? Players favour picking it over all other grenades, which is very true. The nerf aimed to make it less usable as a trigger in air grenade. So, for the people that have been hiding under a rock and not been using them, basically what they mean by this is people were throwing them to a point where you could throw it at someone's face and just explode it midair. So it didn't allow players to really react. So it was basically if you had a trigger grenade, you were winning the fight, right? So this nerf was, essential for the balancing of PvP. So whilst keeping its usefulness as a sticky bomb, damage fall off has been rebalanced to concentrate the damage closer to the center of the explosion. So all this means is obviously the closer you are to the grenade, the more damage it's going to do, and obviously the further away you are from it, the less damage it's going to do within its proximity. So again, that's a very good one because it was a 2 explosion kill, which is crazy. No matter what distance you were really out from it, as long as you was within its radius. So it's good to hear that they've done some work on that. The delay between triggering the grenade and it detonating has been increased from 0.7 seconds to 1.5, giving players more time to react and making it harder to detonate in the air. So that doesn't seem like a lot, but believe it or not, I'm not sure if you've used it yet since the patch. It has been a week. That is actually quite a crazy nerf. Sorry, it's one of those that if you've used it, it actually seems like longer than that to explode. So it's been a huge, huge help. So thank you for Embark for doing that. As I say, I think the kettle might need further review, but from a first update, at least it's a little bit positive, right? So, right, we'll go on to next week's news. So we are now looking at the Tuesday just gone for the update. So this is January the 20th patch notes. So they've put here, they fixed an item duplication exploit and fixed an ammo duplication exploit. I wasn't actually aware of this one, so if you guys were, that's fair enough. I don't really look into exploits. It just creates unfair game. Plus, for an extraction shooter, I don't really see the point in this. It's the whole fun and tension of the game is understanding who's friendly, who's not friendly, the risk of getting in and out with certain loot. So surely duplications would just break the game. Obviously, I know that's why they've removed it, but I just don't know why people would even attempt it, because that is the idea of the game, right? You're going in, it's an extraction shooter, whether you're killing players, arc or whatever, and then getting out with what loot you can. So I don't really see the point in that one. But thank you for Embark for fixing it anyway. So this next one is quite a controversial topic for me. I'm not really happy with this one. So it says fix some cases where players were able to damage others from geometry and fix various out of bound maps locations on Stellar. So I'm assuming from the geometry standpoint, it just means that across the maps, they've obviously spotted a few places where you can glitch into walls, etc. Um, and obviously at this point abuse it to kill players and they can't kill you. So I'm happy with the actual fix of that. However, it's not fixed. So obviously this was released on Tuesday, right? I did the update. I've played yesterday. Bearing in mind we're on Thursday now, and there's still places where you can do it. So where I fell victim to this was live on stream. So we was at Stella Montis. There was one extraction left. I was ready to get out. I had quite a bit of loot, and there was a guy still sat in the extraction zone. So I know this is technically not out of bounds, but at the same time, it is, right. You're not supposed to be able to get outside of the map, which infuriated me because there's only a one extraction, so it's not like you could get out anywhere else. I had a bunch of loot that I was happy with. I had a kit of my own as well, so I wasn't just free kit. And the fact that you sort of push the button to get out and expect to be able to get out and to find someone in that extraction zone, right, to be killed. It's one of those that it is really, really frustrating. It puts people off of using their actual kits for Stella Montis, which then ruins the balance of the game in general, right? Because Stella Montis, getting killed by a free kit or just using free kits, it's not great. It can be a bit of fun to get warmed up and get going before your actual games. But the fact that you should have to use free kits because you're going to lose your shit to someone camping in the extract is just wrong. You shouldn't have to do that. So, but as I say, that has happened to me already since this update. So it's one of those that I don't think it's been quite fixed yet. It needs further work ASAP. It is game breaking in my eyes because people are getting in it right from the beginning and sitting there for the full game, which is crazy. Again, takes all the fun out of the game. Fair enough, it's an easy way to get loot, but the whole point is you're supposed to have some tension of getting in, shooting people, shooting arc, however your play style is, PvP, PvE, risking that loot and potentially getting killed by other players. And then it's just a case of, to be able to then get to extract thinking, all right, I'm safe now, or I need to keep an eye on the corridors, to then turn around, doors open, and then obviously find that someone's there. I just think is bonkers, right? So really, really frustrating. Please fix it, Embark. And yeah, so that covers the actual patch notes. There's not a lot, but as I say, I think this covers what the guys in stream wanted to know. I will have some gameplay overlooking what I've just been talking about to sort of show what I mean. And yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are around these patch notes. Do you think they should have done more? Should have done less? Are you happy with the nerfs? And what would you have done differently? I mean, for me, I don't think it was good enough for how long it's been since we've had an update. It's positive, and I'm happy that certain stuff has been fixed or nerfed. But for a game of its size and the popularity, Embark should be all over this. A lot of these outer map glitches should have been done and dusted with days after being found out, because it is game breaking, right? It ruins the game. I know a lot of people were threatening to quit. I would have. I was close myself, but the game is too addictive, I must say. But for bugs like that, the dev should be all over it. It should be fixed within a matter of days. If someone was hacking their servers, they'd be all over it like a rash. You know what I mean? So when it's threatening their server base, they need to be a bit more proactive. So yeah, as I say, just let us know your thoughts, and yeah. Right, that's the end of today's video. I do stream over on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. During the week between 2:30 and 7:30, and on the weekends between 12 p.m. and 10 p.m. Lunch till evening. Feel free to pop in, say hello. I am new to this space, however, we are making rapid progression. So thank you to all those that are supporting the channel so far. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you later.